Hello, Intranet, and today's video is going to be another Top 5 Wednesday. This is a Goodreads group run by Sam over at Thoughts and Tomes. Both links are down below for your perusal. So today's topic is science fiction and fantasy authors that are auto-buys for you. So as soon as you see their name on the cover of a book, you have already purchased it. Like, you saw it, and your money already disappeared from your bank account the moment that you saw these. Now for me, auto-buy author has a even greater connotation. It means that this is an author that I don't care what you're writing about, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm going to buy it as soon as possible. Like, I will buy this book brand new at a bookstore. That's full price. Like, I'll be spending $20 on your one book because that is how dedicated I am to you and your pieces of work. So auto-buy authors, I go like farther and beyond. There's a lot of authors I like and I will definitely buy all their books. But auto-buy authors, the ones who get on this special list, means that this is the one case where I might pre-order you. The day of your release, I'm already having a party. Like, I'm invested in you being a great author so that I can purchase more of your things. So the first book I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite authors because he wrote one of the most important books for me, and that is Sean David Hutchison, and I'm going to hold up his book, Apocalypse of Elena Mendoza. Now, I don't think Sean David Hutchison is specifically science fiction, but he definitely has a lot of sci-fi elements that he introduces into his books and heavily influence how you're going to interpret his books. I believe this is one of the ones where it has a lot of sci-fi elements. I know We Are the Ants, which I've already reread twice and is the only Sean David Hutchison book that I have read to date, has sci-fi elements in it. I think At the Edge of the Universe also has sci-fi elements in it. So I'm counting it, even though he's not like deep sci-fi. He definitely introduces a lot of science fiction elements into his books that really influence how he's telling the story and how you as a reader are going to interpret this story. Now, like I said, I've only read one of his books. I've reread that book twice, but I love this man's writing so much that I know that I need to buy all of his books. I currently own like more than half of all the books that he's written. Like, I've been slowly collecting them because that is how much I trust this man and how much I know I'm going to enjoy this man. Like, I am scared to read this book, not because I don't think I won't like it, but because I know I'm going to love it. And like, that is a certain sort of like dedication and a heart you have to put into when loving a book, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that commitment because I know I'm gonna love the book so much. So Sean David Hutchison, whatever he does in the future, I'm definitely going to be buying his things. And also, does he have merch? Is that a thing? Like, most of the books on this list I know don't have merch, but I kind of really want mugs and like merch for his stuff. But I know that's probably like, he's not as popular, and most of the books on this list aren't like great fandoms and like aren't huge fandoms. So if like you guys could start becoming a part of this fandom and maybe like make an Etsy shop in which you sell stuff for the books I'm about to mention and these authors and their works, I would be like 200% okay with that, because I really just need some mugs, some like merch, some book sleeves, I don't know, something that I can own besides these books to show my love for the authors that I am mentioning in this video. The second author I'm going to mention is an author that I plan to buy more from, even though it is quite impossible at the moment, and that is Nicholas Eames, who wrote Kings of the Wild. I believe this is his first book. It's a debut novel, and he is coming out with a second book. This is a high fantasy. It follows a bunch of teams. They are referred to as bands who go around hunting different like creatures, like trolls and like cannibal humans and like all that sort of different stuff. So in this book, it is an old band getting back together 20 years after their retirement so that they can save the daughter of one of their band members. It is full of hilarity, it has seriousness, it has action. It is just a fantastic book, and the moment I finished it, I was like, I saw that he had a next book, And I've already made plans to donate my money in exchange for this very important book to me, because in July, that's when Bloody Rose comes out. And I've already made plans. Like, I already know that money's gone. Like, I'm not getting that money back. Like, that money is already spent. It's done. And I'm getting that book, because that's how much I need this book. And I've been stalking him, and I know that he's planning to make a third book following along in this world. And I'm like, so what's the title? When's it coming out? And when do you want me to plan to spend my money on your book? Because you got to tell me these things, because I'm going to spend my money on your book. So you better tell me. But this is an author who, just by this one book alone, has already convinced me I need to buy all of his other books when they are released. Like, the moment they're released, I'm going to be reading them. That is how serious I am. And like Nicholas Eames, I feel very much the same for this next author, which is Sumatra Vera. This is The Tiger's Daughter, her debut novel. And as you all know, if you watch me, I love this book. It's one of my favorites. I love this book. I cannot wait until October when Phoenix Empress is released. That is another book that I'll be out there knocking on Bam's window like, are you gonna let me in and give me my book? Because I'm paying full price if I have to get the second book as fast as possible. I'm already peeved. I gotta wait until the end of the year. Like, I don't want to be wasting my whole year for the hopes of getting one book, but I wouldn't be sad if October was tomorrow and this book was being released, because I really need more of her books. I don't care where she ventures off in writing and what she writes next. And if she sticks to the same path, I'll be happy. If she decides to branch out into something other than fantasy, I will also be extremely happy. So this, I think, kind of borders on fantasy, but it does have like demons and like mythical things in it, so I do believe it counts as fantasy as well as historical fiction. So I'm here for it, and I need her to produce more books, and I need like a whole long list of all the next 20 books she's planning to write so I can know how to budget my money. The next author is one I've already made tons of effort into buying all of their books as much as I can, and that is Nettie Okorafor. Now, this author focuses a lot on science fiction and fantasy. This book, Lagoon, is specifically science fiction. The Binti trilogy that she wrote is science fiction, but she also has other books that are fantasy, like Akata Witch and Akata Warrior, and there are several other books that she has written that also kind of go towards fantasy as well. So I have been making like slow progress buying all of her books, and I absolutely love how she writes, both in science fiction and in fantasy. They're both really great. She really knows how to handle these genres, and I know that when I read her books, I'm gonna have a good time. Like, there's not any chance that this is going, like, her books are going to be anything less than a 4-star read for me. I am definitely going to have a lot of fun and be thoroughly entertained, and she's probably going to teach me something that I didn't even know about, and I'm just going to be like, wow, this is amazing. So I can't wait to read this book, because I haven't yet, and it was a lucky find at a bookstore. So I'm happy and excited, but this is, again, I'm so sure I'm gonna really enjoy my time with this book that I'm really nervous about reading it. So I keep like pushing it off, because I'm like, you're gonna love this book so much. Are you prepared for the love you're about to have? And the last author I am going to mention in this video is Becky Chambers, who is the woman who wrote A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I had so much fun with this book. This was such a good book, and was definitely a book for me. This book had characters talking and having conversations, characters living in close vicinities, like how they're interacting, their philosophies, how those clash. Like, just everything that I really love and I find really intriguing is done in this book. It's not heavy action, but it's definitely heavy on character development and conversation and philosophy and all of that sort of stuff, and I was absolutely in love with it. Now, while this is the only Becky Chambers book that I've read, it is not the only one I own, nor is it going to be the only one that I will own. I have plans to collect all the books she comes out in the same universe. So I have a closing comment or a bib. I'm still waiting for A Few Born something. I can't remember. She has long titles. I love them, but they're long titles to remember. And I just have to figure out when that book's coming out and how to get my hands on the matching holder edition. You already know I'm buying her books. Like, I don't even need to read them. I know I'm gonna own them. Like, that's how serious I am. Like, it's that bad that these authors are ones that I don't even need to know what the book's about. I don't even really care what the book's about. I just know I'm going to buy their book. Even if I don't have any plans to read it, like, immediately, I'm still buying the book immediately. Like, I'm serious about these things. Oh, and this is a science fiction book. In case, like, you didn't know, it takes place in space. It's kind of... I feel like it's self-explanatory, but I figure I might as well tell you anyway. But these are 5 authors that I love. These are 5 authors that I don't care what they write. They could write a book of poetry. And I don't even like poetry. And I would still buy their poetry collection. Because I am that serious about spending my money on these authors, because I 100% support them. Which is why I'm not digging into their past lives, because I don't need them ruining it for me. So far, they all seem like really awesome people. But don't ruin it, guys. I really need to purchase all your books. So please just stay decent human beings that I can trust. Okay? That's all I want. I just want you to be reasonably decent human beings so I can continue to spend my money on your things. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Also, once again, I know all of these books are like niche books. I know they're not the most popular books. I know most of you have probably heard about these authors and maybe these books like from different circles, but they're not like mainstream. Now, what I really need you guys to do is tell me if there are any places that have merch for any of these authors. Because I feel like the answer is a resounding no. But I'm hoping one of you guys is familiar with one of these authors and can tell me whether or not there's merch out there for them. Because I really need it in my life. Like anywhere like prints, mugs, book sleeves, I don't care, keychains, whatever it is. If you could tell me if there's merch that actually exists, I would be astounded and very, very pleased. So if you like what you're seeing here and you want to continue to see more, click all those bunny bunnies down below, and goodbye, internet.